Good morning. Welcome to Sunday Dinners, where we will be making easy and wonderful dishes for your family dinners, special occasions, and of course the ever popular potlucks. Before we begin, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and please hit the notification button so you'll know when I upload another dish. So with that said, let's get started. Okay, so today we will be modifying or revamping the Japanese sushi. It's called Sushi Bake. I know, it's a bit of an oxymoron because, well, it's sushi, which is raw traditionally, but this is baked. Now this dish is perfect for those who are a bit squeamish about eating raw fish, but still want to be able to enjoy the spicy and tangy taste of traditional sushi. So here we go. Okay, so let us cook our rice first. Usually, and this is what I use. I use this Four Sisters sushi rice, and that's available on Amazon. And usually, this is not rocket science at all. All you have to remember, okay, since the measurement, to measure out your rice, you usually use 2 cups of water to 1 cup of rice. I usually rinse my rice out once or twice, so I've already rinsed it out. I've actually soaked this for 30 minutes. So I'm gonna wash it out one more time. A lot of times, some people actually do it until the water runs clean. Now for Japanese rice, like I said, I usually soak it for 30 minutes, and this is already soaked. Okay, so now after you soak it, now you just have to measure, and this is not rocket science at all. Okay, you do not have to overcomplicate this. All you have to remember is you measure out your rice, usually 2 cups of water to 1 cup of rice. And since we're doing 2 cups of rice today, we'll be adding 4 cups of water. Okay, so our rice is clean, so now I'm going to add the 4 cups of water. So that's 2 cups of rice for 4 cups of water. Okay, now just level it off. Now, like I said, this is not rocket science at all. All right? All you have to, and this is used by Asians the world over. Now, all you have to remember is to look at your fingers, and your middle finger specifically, okay? No, this is not to flip off Jamie Oliver, okay? But this is, you just look at your middle finger, the first line of your middle finger, your knuckle, okay? You put your finger on top of the rice, and just remember to put enough water that it hits that first line of your middle finger. Okay? Now at this time we have too much water, so I'm going to measure the water out. And there you go. That's to your middle finger, or the first line of your middle finger. And that should be perfect. Okay, now, and then you cook this in medium heat for about 30 minutes. Usually I check it, make sure the water is dry, and make sure the rice is cooked, and then you're done. Okay, now, so essentially, this is a deconstructed sushi roll. So for this dish, we're going to need a few ingredients. Now, you should be able to find them at your local Walmart or Albertsons or any grocery stores. If not, you can order them from Amazon. The only thing that might not be, you might not be able to find is the mayonnaise. Now, I use a certain kind of mayonnaise, a Japanese mayonnaise called Kewpie. Now, the reason why I like this mayonnaise is because it is made with egg yolks and not the whole eggs. So it has richer and more velvety texture than your regular store-bought mayo. But your regular mayo will work well too. I just like to use this one. All right. So we're going to be using imitation crabs, 8 ounces, and 8 ounces of your diced shrimps, my mayo, a quarter cup of, that's a quarter cup of mayo, a quarter cup of cream cheese, room temperature, okay? And that's, for those of you who are diabetic like me, there's 4 grams of sugar in this, so be very careful. 1.5 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1 teaspoon of sesame oil, and 1 tablespoon of sambal or chili paste. This is an Indian chili paste, sambal, or you can use, you can also use any chili paste. Now, and then 1 tablespoon of lime juice and 1/2 cup of green onions. Okay, so now you just mix them all together. So you have your imitation crabs. And I usually like to shred these. You can dice them too if you want, but I like the shredded because it has a little bit of bite into them. And then 8 ounces of diced shrimps. Not too small. Like I said, I like a little bit of bite into my seafood, so just cut them a little bit, not too big, not too small, so just to your liking. Okay, and then 1/4 cup of my wonderful Kewpie, which is the Japanese mayo. Okay. And then 1/4 cup of cream cheese. Now, this is just any cream cheese. It has to be room temperature because you have to be able to mix it. So make sure you take it out early enough for it to soften a little bit. Okay, and then 1.5 tablespoons of soy sauce. Okay. And then 1 teaspoon of sesame oil. I love this oil. I know it's a little bit fatty and it's a little bit rich, but I love this oil. I usually use this for my noodles. If you ever make ramen, my ramen noodles, I usually will put a little bit of sesame oil in them. It gives it that nutty flavor. I really like it. Okay, and then a tablespoon or 2, depending on your taste, of the sambal paste. Now, this is a bit spicy. Not too much, but just a little bit spicy. Or I would say medium. And then 1 tablespoon of lime juice. And then you take your green onions and don't dice them. You kind of cut them in strips, so it's not too small, and you still have, like I said, like a little bit of bite into them. Now mix this together. Like I said, this mayonnaise is really nice, and the smell of it it's just wonderful. It's so rich. But again, if you are trying to cut down on fat, you might want to not use this. Just use your regular mayo. You can use that too. Okay, so that is our crab and shrimp filling for our deconstructed roll. Okay, so our rice is just about done. I like to add some flavorings to our rice while it's hot to give it that aromatic, acidic flavor that I just love. So in a small bowl, we're gonna use rice vinegar, which is this. And again, you could get this from any store, really, Walmart, Albertsons, or any grocery store that's close to you. So we're gonna add a 1/4 cup of rice vinegar to our bowl. And 2 tablespoons of sugar. Now, if you're diabetic like me, I usually like to use the diabetic sweeteners. This is stevia, which is pretty close to sugar. So now, if again, some of the ingredients that we're going to use, like the furikake, has sugar in it, so I don't like to put too much ingredients in my food that has a lot of sugar content. So this is actually stevia, but you can use regular sugar if you want. So just 2 tablespoons of stevia or regular sugar, and a teaspoon. Again, this is a very nutty, very pungent oil, so a little goes a long way. So a teaspoon of sesame oil. Okay, and you just mix that up, and you can pop this in the microwave for about 30 seconds, and that should be done. And then we're gonna spoon out our rice and add that in. Okay, so here's our sushi rice, and there's about maybe 2-3 cups in here. Now, and this is our seasonings that we just popped out of the microwave. Now fluff up the texture to this is a bit sticky. So like sticky rice. In the Philippines, we have what's called malagkit, which is basically very sticky rice, and this has the same consistency to it. Now so just fluff it up a bit so it's easier to work with. I like to also add a tiny amount of furikake. Essentially, this is a Japanese condiment. It's prepared sesame seed and seaweed. Now, just so you know, the sodium content on this is a bit high. It has about 1 gram of sugar also per serving, and since the serving size is 5 grams or 1 tablespoon, use it sparingly if you're diabetic like me, or if you have heart issues, because it's a very high in sugar content, and or a tiny bit of sugar content, and very high in sodium. So just be careful with it. But I also like to add that into my sushi rice because it gives it that really nice flavor and a little bit of bite into it. So you just add your vinegar mix into your sushi rice. And mix it a bit. You can really smell the rice vinegar. I love rice vinegar. It's not as pungent as regular vinegar. Now, I like apple cider vinegar because it's really good for diabetics. It lowers your sugar. It's also good for high blood pressure. But rice vinegar is really great. It's vinegary, but not too much. You can also smell the sweetness to it. Okay, so now we add our furikake. Again, a tablespoon is enough, but if you want, you can add more. I love these on soups and pasta. You know, sometimes you can just make spaghetti, and instead of tomato sauce, just sprinkle a little bit into your spaghetti, and it's really good. Okay, so we'll let that sit for just a bit, and I think we're going to be ready to assemble. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so one more thing, actually, I completely forgot. we need to make the spicy mayo. Think of it as the lover's knot tiara on Princess Kate's regal head. It's the crowning glory. All right, so we need to mix together my wonderful Kewpie mayo. That's about a half a cup of my Kewpie. And then to this, we're gonna take 1 tablespoon or 2 tablespoons, depending on your taste, of my sambal, which is the Indian spice. It's a bit hot, not too much, but just a bit, so be careful with it. So about 1 to 2 tablespoons is all you need. And then a 1/4 teaspoon of sesame oil. I love this, like I said. It's very nutty. And then half a teaspoon of sugar, or in my case, because if you're diabetic, of course, stevia or any sweetener that you can get. But half a teaspoon of this into the mix. And then just to even everything out, just 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. Okay, mix that together. And this is a wonderful sauce, actually. Again, you can use this for fish, for anything that you need to do like a cream sauce in. This is wonderful. So usually I make a whole ton of this and just put it in the fridge. Okay, and that is our spicy mayo. All right, so go ahead and heat up your oven to about 425 degrees. And then we're gonna put our rice, our sushi rice, our wonderful aromatic sushi rice in the bottom of the bowl. Okay, just spread that evenly. You know, this is such a sticky rice. I love it, actually. I love sticky rice. The problem with sticky rice is, again, a lot of sugar content, and it's very high in calories. As opposed to just your regular white rice or brown rice, actually. There is, if you want to be healthier, you can use sticky brown rice. That's actually, you can get that from Amazon if you want. I have tried it. It's not bad. It's not as good as white rice, of course, as far as the texture, but you can substitute sticky brown rice to this. And again, you can get that from Amazon. Okay, so this is almost done. Okay, so just make sure that it's even. You can add as much rice as you want or as little as you want. That just depends on your taste. I like rice, so as much rice as I can use on my dishes, I will do it, just because I actually am not allowed to have rice, but I love rice. I grew up on rice. So just make sure that you tamp it down evenly, like so. Okay, and then after that, now usually I will buy the full sheets of seaweed. But unfortunately, I bought the half sheets, but this will work too. So just cover your rice with the seaweed. And just make sure that you have that most of your rice is covered with it, because the seaweed actually adds to the flavor of the sushi. Obviously, since sushi has seaweed in it. So, okay. So you have the seaweed on. Now you can put remember that mixture of crab and shrimps that we made? Okay, so now you just put that on top. Oh, I can smell the sesame oil on this. And honestly, that Kewpie mayonnaise is wonderful. It's full of fat, but it's just wonderful. Okay, just spread that around. Like so. And if you want, you could also cover this with more of the furikake. That's up to you, because like I said, that furikake has a lot of salt in it and a lot of sugar, so that's up to you. What do you want to do? So there you have it, my deconstructed sushi bake. Now we just need to dress it up a bit. Take your homemade spicy mayo that we made and drizzle it over the dish. Remember, this has a bit of a kick, so use sparingly. I know I should use, if you have it, I only have one, so I can't use this because I'm using it for the unagi, but if you have it, use one of those squirt bottles. It'll look better. Okay. Then take some unagi sauce. By the way, unagi is not a form of martial arts like Ross Geller from Friends mistakenly thinks. My husband actually, we usually do a Friends marathon once a year. We love that show. Unagi is a Japanese eel. But unagi sauce does not actually have eel in it. It's made of sake, mirin, which is Japanese wine, sugar, and soy sauce. It's based on nitsumi, a Japanese sauce that contains eel broth. Now, if you don't have unagi, which is, it's actually very hard to find in the United States, especially in Montana, you can use other sauce like oyster sauce. You can substitute oyster sauce. And this is what I'm using today. Okay? So just drizzle it over the dish. And again, not so much because it is already salty. Over the dish. And then just put some more of these furikake. Drizzle it over that. There you go. Take some green onions, chopped up. There you go. And if you want, you can put some avocados in it, which I love. I love avocados. So I'm going to put some avocados in this dish. Just a little bit. Just all around it, just so if your guests want some, they can grab some slices. And There you go. Okay, so there you go. There's my deconstructed sushi bake. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you for watching Sunday Dinners. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and please hit that notification button, please. And may this Sunday be the beginnings of all the good things in your life. And as always, live, love, and dinner.